there, this is Dead Rockstar, and I'm here today with Hugh Jeremy, otherwise known as NS2HD on YouTube. Hugh does an amazing amount of gameplay videos and news for Natural Selection 2, and has gotten the honor of interviewing Unknown Worlds themselves. I highly recommend his videos if you play Natural Selection 2, or if you want to know a little bit about the sequel to one of the most award-winning mods ever. So, let's get on with it. Hey there, Hugh, what's up?
G'day. Hi, how you doing?
Pretty good. And yourself?
I am pretty good, yeah.
So, why don't you tell me about the story of how NS2HD all got started?
Ooh, NS2HD got started. Well, you know what? It all probably comes down to StarCraft because I remember about a year and a half ago now, I saw people like Husky and HD StarCraft and what they were doing for StarCraft 2. And StarCraft 2 obviously was already going to be a popular game, but I think they brought a real mainstream audience to the kind of competition in StarCraft 2. And I thought, hey, maybe I can do something on a much, much smaller scale for NS2 and maybe bring people into NS2. And yeah, it took a while, but I basically just started making some very awkward little videos. You can still watch NS2HD number one, and it's very awkward. And from there, it's exploded.
I wouldn't criticize your videos at all. Actually, they're all really good. I haven't seen the first one. I don't think so.
Oh, well
But
then, yeah, don't speak too soon until you've seen the first one.
yeah, I started off pretty rocky as well. But with time, we're
Yeah,
all
with
getting better.
time.
So I know you had a nice trip to America and meeting unknown worlds. Could you describe that a little?
That was crazy. That was an amazing experience. That started, I mean, I was just chatting to Unknown Worlds. They very kindly take some time occasionally to chat to me and talk to me about making videos. And we were talking about how cool it would be if I visited. And I said, well, why don't I come visit? And they said, well, yeah, but you live 12,000 kilometers away. And I think it was a Tuesday, and I was thinking, all right, my holidays are about to end. I'm about to start work. You know what? Bugger it. I'm just going to do it. And I bought plane tickets to America with 48 hours until the plane left. And it was pretty funny because it in fact said on the website you need to allow at least 60 hours for immigration permission to process. So I was like, oh crap, am I going to get there and get turned away by immigration? But it all went through and I got there. And I spent 5 days in San Francisco with Unknown Worlds. The first day I just spent wandering around, just being a tourist. And the second day, Corey, the Unknown Worlds art director, very kindly showed me around San Francisco, showed me the Golden Gate Bridge and all that. And on the third, fourth, and fifth days, I worked in their office, just making videos with them, just wandering around the office, being generally very annoying while they worked on the game.
That, I mean, I bet that's such an honor for you to go there. I mean, because you spend so much
Yeah,
time
it
with
was.
NS2, and to meet the people behind it, that's that's
Oh,
just
it was
ridiculous.
crazy, Sean. I mean, I walked in, and I think when I first came in, it was just Corey, I think, was in the office. He was working on some art, and it was maybe 8:30 in the morning. And he said, "Oh yeah, just chill over there. We've got a spare desk. You can set up there." And so I was sitting there, and then the door opened, and there was Charlie Cleveland. I mean, Flavor himself walked in the door with his bicycle and his helmet on. And I remember he said, "Is there an Australian in the house?"
As
And I was like, "Oh my God, this
an
is Charlie
Australian.
Cleveland." Yeah, and then Max, and obviously I'd met Corey the previous day, which was just amazing. You can actually see a video, I think, of our first day wandering around San Francisco, which was pretty funny. But yeah, it was incredible because I remember when I was younger playing NS1, I knew who Corey and Max and Charlie were. They were out there, and then to actually meet them and all the rest of the people working on NS2 was mind blowing.
Yeah, I'd actually consider those guys legends in the modding world. I mean, they quite literally took the Gold Source engine and shoved it in a completely different direction. I've seen so many mods for natural selection, just like textures and stuff like that, and the that mod is huge. I
Yeah, it's an
have like a
amazing
whole bunch
thing.
of models and textures backed up on my computer, and it it's just not a mod. It's literally like a medium for texture artists and modelers to get a decent start on. Actually, I've seen a lot of
Yeah.
quality modelers on there. So how much gaming footage do you usually take in a day for natural selection 2?
Well, in a day, it can be anywhere from 4 hours to zero because it depends on what the day is. And I try to get a gameplay in each night, but usually it ends up being maybe every second night that I do actually get to play the game. and maybe record a quick game. But it's usually on weekends where it really happens, and especially just recently. Say like 5 a.m. yesterday, I was up and recording a clan match that was being played in France in Europe, and it that was about 3 hours of footage, and then I got given another 3 hours from my two other recorders, the two other spectators in the game, and so that was about 9 hours that I sifted through on Sunday to create NS2HD number 233, I think. Yeah.
Wow. Um, this is more of a personal question. Could you tell us a little bit about your gaming rig that you use for editing?
Yeah, it's really ugly. It's sitting next to me now, and it's an ugly big black thing. It was built purposely for NS2HD because I had a laptop that I was playing games on, and I realized when I wanted to start NS2HD that wasn't gonna be up to scratch. So I went out there and I got an AMD 6-core X6 processor, and I got an ATI 5870, slapped that in there, some hard drives, whole bunch of 16 gigs of RAM to edit with, and otherwise it's a pretty boring thing to look at. But it's my workhorse. It gets the job done, and it's put through 233 videos, which would I don't know what 233 times 10 is, but that's how many minutes of gameplay it's edited in its life. So I'm really happy.
Don't you have longer than 10 minutes to work with for YouTube videos? I mean,
Oh
I
yeah,
think
yeah, true.
I think Mod Informer does at least. So, haha.
Yeah, I'm probably taking the average because a lot of my early videos
Yeah.
were only about 2.5, 3 minutes long, and
Yep.
then more recently they've been getting up to 20 minutes. So on average, I think it's probably over the life, it's 233 times 10 or something like that.
So that's it. That's enough about NS2HD. Now we can focus a little bit more on mods. So I know you've covered NS Summit, which was a community-made map, which was added to the official game and made by Psychoman. How would you compare this map to official Unknown Worlds maps?
I think it's a very different kind of map. It's mod. It's a mod in the sense that it goes beyond just being a new map for the game. It actually took gameplay in a new direction because the Unknown Worlds official maps, say you had X amount of gameplay space, you had X amount of floor space in a map. They've been packing X amount into a 5 by 5 area. And what Psychoman did is he took the same amount of roughly game area, the same amount of room space, and he packed it into 10 by 10 instead. So he kind of exploded the gameplay out and made larger linking corridors. And so it's kind of changed a little bit the way the beta is being played. And so I think it's a really exciting thing that he did, and it's been completely officially accepted by Unknown Worlds. They say they're going to include it in the final product, and it is the most played map in NS2 beta at the moment.
Are there any custom maps or any other custom maps that you know of being developed right now?
Definitely, I know that the unknownworlds.com/ns2 modern mapping forum is alive with lots of different maps. There are heaps going on. I can't name any off the top of my head. I know there's one. Yeah, I can't name any off the top of my head, but there are a lot of them in there. So if you're interested in mapping, check out that forum. And I can't wait to see some of them get finished and maybe do what Summit has done.
Have you ever considered making a map yourself for Natural Selection 2?
I have, and I've the Spark editor, the map editor for the Spark engine comes with the game. If you buy the beta, you get the Spark map editor, and I have played with it, but unfortunately, just with the amount of time I have to spend video editing, I don't end up having the time to map edit as well, which is sad. But at least I get to see and sometimes have the honor of casting other people's creations, which is really exciting.
So, what would you think about the Spark engine? What should we expect from the Spark engine in terms of gameplay mods?
I'm not a really technical person, so I can't tell you how absolutely moddable it is compared to something like, I don't know, Source. But I mean, I can tell you anecdotally that it is an extremely moddable engine. It's built in C++, but the whole game code is in Lua, which is just an incredibly mod-friendly language. And I think what we're going to see is people take Spark and take the explicit support that Unknown Worlds say they're going to give to modders, strip NS2 off the top of the Spark engine, and just build entirely new games on it. And Unknown Worlds has said that people will be absolutely allowed to do that and they will support that. And I think that's an incredibly exciting thing for the mod community to have an engine that is about to be available to them, and it's just going to be so friendly to them.
So, In terms of the engine, do you think it could compete with the Cry 3 engine or the UDK or even the Source engine?
Well, it depends on how you term compete. If you term compete, what kind of games it could produce and how good the gameplay in those games could be, I think absolutely. Because to a small developer, working with something like CryEngine 3, I think would be a lot more intimidating than working with Spark. There'll be a lot more barriers to entry. Visually, obviously, when you've got a studio that's got just tens of millions, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars of budget to spend on creating a game engine, it's the visuals are always going to be 10% better. But if you look at there's some tech demos of Spark that Max has created, and I can see them actually in the internal builds of Natural Selection 2 that aren't publicly available. There are some amazing visual effects going into Spark, and if you looked at side by side with Source, I mean, the visuals are way up there, definitely. And the fact that it is fully dynamically lit makes for some amazing visual experiences in Natural Section 2 and in future Spark games. I think they will as well.
So in the past with Natural Selection 1, we've seen game modes like Marines versus Marines and Aliens versus Aliens. Do you think we could see that in Natural Selection 2 as well?
Absolutely. I mean, if you go into the game right now and type cheats one, you can have a little fake Marine versus Marines, Alien versus Aliens matchup. And actually, when the game was initially in beta, you could select Marine versus Marine mode in the main menu. So this is obviously something that Unknown Worlds wants to support, and maybe they intend for modders to create it. But they're definitely thinking about that and allowing flexibility in game modes. And I think we will definitely see different game modes for Natural Section 2, whether officially added by Unknown Worlds or as mods.
So what kind of game modes would you like to see in Natural Selection 2?
Oh, that is tricky. What kind of game modes would I like to see in Natural Section 2? Uh, give me a second here, Sean.
Take your time.
Yeah,
Actually,
well, I think I know, we had combat back in Natural Selection 1, and I know a lot of purists sort of thought, well, what is this? It's fragmenting the Natural Selection community. But I think what was great about combat, the combat mod, was it allowed people to practice their Natural Selection 1 skills in a less intense environment than the full actual classic gameplay was. And so maybe something similar to combat that allows people to learn what the different abilities do and what the different weapons do and how they behave in a more simple gameplay environment. Yeah, I'd like to see something like that, and I think it would improve everyone's ability to play the actual Natural Selection 2 game.
yeah, personally, I like all of the Natural Selection 1 game modes. I mean, not all, but like Classic and Combat. But I played Combat quite a bit, and the X menu, if you guys who already know about Natural Selection 1, the X menu introduced higher levels than just level 10. And I used to go on custom servers and just kind of grind away just for the hell of it. And just
Yeah,
even on the
yeah, so did I.
custom servers with the bots, and even against people, it was really fun when you got into the higher levels. And then like in Marines versus Marines, there was X menu and the build menu, and you could have turrets, and then you could have you know people always complain, oh, you already got nano armor, blah blah blah. It was a good time. I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to see
definitely.
that again. So moving on to some more random questions. When you wake up in the morning, what song's in your head?
Oh, it's a little bit sad because so often when I wake up in the morning, it's like 4:30 or 5, and I'm specifically waking up for Natural Section 2. It means that I'll turn on my PC and I'll put my headphones on and I'll start up Natural Section 2 and the menu music will come in. Anyone that's played Natural Section 2 will know it's pretty cool menu music. And unfortunately, because that's what I hear so often first thing in the morning, it's often what is sort of playing on a ghost soundtrack in my head when I wake up. I hear it.
That's great. Um, uh, have you ever rode an elephant?
I haven't, and it's really sad that I haven't because I live in Australia and that's fairly close to Thailand, which is like the elephant riding capital of Southeast Asia, and I have never been there, so I haven't ridden an elephant. And to tell you the truth, my life is not complete.
I don't think mine will be either until I read one. Boxers or briefs?
Briefs, I think. Yeah, gets mixed up. It gets mixed up.
Again, every
Got to
other
do what
one.
you're told.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, That's it. I've ran out of questions for you. Do you have anything left to say, Hugh?
Just that Natural Section 2 HD exists for the Natural Section 2 community. And if anyone out there, if you're part of the community and you'd like to see something on the channel, or you've got an idea for something, or anything you at all that you think you could use my YouTube channel for, I would be only too willing. So you can contact me. There's heaps of contact details on the channel page, and I'll be only too willing to turn your idea into something that could maybe really help promote Natural Selection 2.
All right, that seems like that's it. I guess don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and visit NS2HD on YouTube and modinformer.org.